Good evening and welcome to the Board of Selectmen meeting on Monday, July 10th, 2023. Call the meeting to order at 6:01. And can we have a roll call, please?
Select Chair, Mr. Coy.
Here?
Select Vice Chair, Mr. DeRoche.
Here.
Selectman Mr. Britton.
Present.
Selectman Mr. Gifford.
Here.
Selectman Ms. Bergeron.
Here.
And note for the record, we have Town Manager Mr. Colby here.
And if we could all stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, is there anyone here for public comment? Guess not. All right, we'll move right into the agenda. The assessing discussion. First up, come on up, Mary Beth. I guess this is kind of like a good time for our yearly update on everything, and I know we're still way below at 76% now for evaluations and.
Yes, we're here for the yearly update. We have not done a reevaluation since 2021. That was our last reevaluation and our last assessment review process. We're due again in 2026 for both. And on the back on page 2, there is a listing that will give you from 2019 through 2022. And the preliminary ratios were from October of 2022 through the end of May. And we have 56 sales at that time, and our ratio was 76.4, not very different from the year before, which was 77.8. If you look at the single families, we had 29 single family sales, and it's at 82, so that's actually leveled off a little bit. We did another analysis today and threw in the June sales, and we're at 80% for our single family homes. And so we're kind of leveled off on the single family homes. Our condominiums, though, those are still, sale prices are still increasing. And we were at 79.4 in 2022, and we're at 74 through May, and we're at 72% through the end of June.
And so far, there's no preliminary for commercial?
We've had very little commercial sales so far.
So if we were to do, or try to update, do you think you'd see much of a difference? Like would the burden shift more towards commercial, or is it pretty much would stay the same?
I don't see that the burden will have shift towards the commercial properties at this point. Not necessarily because of the lack of sales in Plaistow, but we've looked at the sales over the last few years, and they have not recovered the same as the residential properties. So we would have to bring the residential properties up to 100%, and they're at 76 right now. And our gain of market value over the last few years for commercial properties, depending on the type of property, is between 5 and 10%, except for apartments, and those would be more.
Questions, or anyone? Would there be any recommendation for us? Do you think we should do one, or it really wouldn't make much of a difference?
So it would make a difference in the fact that you'd be moving from 76% to 100% on your single family homes, and your condos would be going from 72 up to 100%. And the shift in commercial would be a lot less. So whether you do a reevaluation this year or not is certainly up to you, but with the market kind of leveling out, we usually see that in southern New Hampshire before we see it anywhere else. And we're starting to see that here, that the not specifically in the lower end properties, which would be your condos, but your single family homes are starting to level out in value. So if you jump to do a revaluation this year, you may end up seeing that they'd be over 100% next year.
Any opinions?
I think we wait.
Yeah, I
That's,
say we wait.
that's what I'm thinking, because it doesn't seem like anything's really gonna change a whole lot, right? For anyone.
And with everything going on right now and the prices through the roof, I just,
Right.
I wouldn't want to do that right
Yep.
now.
Any opinion? John?
I'm in agreement.
Jay?
I'm in agreement, but I just have a couple questions. If we were to do a statistical update, maybe Mr. Colby can help answer this too. And we bring it up to 100%. What impact to the tax rate does that have?
It would lower the tax rate
It would lower the tax rate.
because the overall total assessed value would increase, not knowing, 23% if we hit right to the target. So roughly a quarter of that would be added to the base. So it would lower the tax rate itself. Still would be this, theoretically, the same amount of money still needs to be raised. It just would be higher assessed value.
When that happens, what's the impact to the normal taxpayer?
Still, the adage, right? A third of the bills will go up, a third of bills will go down, a third of bills will stay the same.
Yes, because remember, we're not just changing it by a price per square foot. It's the type of property, where is it located, et cetera. So you're going to have people shifting in different directions.
Right.
You could possibly have someone go down, but the sales that we have right now, there isn't any area that would go down. But they may end up paying more in taxes overall for some homes if we brought them up to 100%. So you always have to be aware of that. And that's our general rule of thumb, is a third, and a third.
And I left my magic 8-ball at home, so if we do a statistical update, would that help ease the burden of the statistical or the full reval in 26?
Because you're not doing cycle inspections, you will have a full revaluation in 2026, unless you chose to do that this year. You have to do one in 2026 because you're not doing cycled inspections. It would simply be a statistical update based on the data that we have in the system.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have no issue staying pat.
And is there any legal requirement, obligation? Is there any fine or anything that we're below the range?
No.
Okay. I'm good. Thank you.
Do you have anything, Greg, you wanted to add or anything? No. All right, is there anything else we need to go over with Corcoran, or?
As Mary Beth pointed out, this is the last year of the contract. She has proposed, in a contract for 3 years moving forward. So it's, the board, as the assessors, are responsible for hiring them. So we can either go out for RFP, or, if you have a chance, you want to review the contract and feel that it's the, best to keep them, going forward, with what they've provided the town and level of knowledge and the like, then, we can certainly, execute the contract as well. So.
And it's in here, right, for 1 year, and then there's a 2-year price, is that correct? I believe.
I believe it's a 3-year contract with.
It is. It's 3 years, the first year being one price and the next 2 years being an elevated price, a little bit more, because we have
lock in.
I'm sorry?
You lock in for that price though, right?
Yes, that's what we'd do. And it's because we have the assessment review process. We have to redo all of the exemptions and credits and our current use and everything else. So that would be part of that equation.
All right, that would take us through 2026.
Yes, and there's a proposed number for revaluation there as well. And that would take care of everything right through to the end of December 2026, including your revaluation.
Mary Beth, what is it now that we're paying per year?
I'm sorry, I don't have that.
Okay.
I didn't.
Do you think it's like, is it less than the 36, I mean, the 86,000
You're paying less
Okay.
than the 86.
right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
If I remember correctly, I brought it up about 10% because we had it set almost the same for about 3 years.
Okay.
And how long was the last contract?
3 years.
Yes. So that's standard.
So we've been putting away money towards the reval in a warrant article, correct?
I don't think so. We were.
Didn't pass.
Well, this past year it didn't
Right,
pass,
this
but
past
we've
year.
put money into it the last couple of years,
At
correct?
least the last one, I know.
Yeah. So if it keeps failing, we're going to need the budget for that in 26.
Correct.
Get that message out there a little more to try to
Yeah, ease it. Ease
put
the
it away
pain.
now so we can get it all at once. in
Do we
two-
know what's in
2
there now?
years.
Not off the top of my head, no.
Okay.
I think
It's,
there were.
it's always a tough one to pass. I mean, we'll have to do something.
I think there were
Nobody's in
2
love with
deposits.
revenues.
That's correct.
Any feelings which way you're leaning, what you'd like to do? Would you want to think about it? Whether we go with the contract or you do an RFP?
Well, I know like in the past, when I was on the board, we've put it out and Mary Beth, she's always come back better than anybody, so. And I think there was there was a time where nobody
Correct.
Yeah.
responded.
I mean,
So.
I don't see any issues and they know the town.
Right. I just say we move forward with it.
Yep, and I asked Jay to come just because he's here more often than I am. I come down and deal with certain issues, but Jay and Susan are your point people here.
Yeah, I know the town backwards and forwards.
Yeah, I mean, you guys, how many years have you been,
I've been here
Wow.
since 1999. Yeah.
it's been a long time. Thoughts, Darrell, what do you think?
I have no problem with leaving it with them. The other side of the coin for me is that we do have a fiduciary responsibility to take and try to save some money.
Mhm.
So I think, on the other hand, I'd like to see an RFP just because we owe that to the people,
John?
I don't know. These guys know the town. They've been taking care of the town on a regular basis. We haven't had any issues with any of their reporting. And I understand what you're saying, and sometimes shopping it out isn't always the best. Bottom line isn't always the best for the outcome.
I think the problem I have now, the bigger problem, the problem with the RFP is they've exposed their number,
Yeah,
and that's not fair business.
correct.
If we had said we were going to go with RFP right from the get-go, then it would have been easy for them to hold their number, in their pocket.
Right.
So I guess I take that back then. Knowing that everybody's exposed to their number,
Yeah,
I'm going to say, give it to them.
right. And that's what I was leaning towards, give it to him anyways. Jake?
Well, given we have this in front of us now, the numbers are out exposed, like you said. But if we were to do an RFP, Greg, what's the turnaround time to do something like that?
Probably 6 to 8 weeks.
And when do we need to make a decision on this? Tonight?
No, not tonight.
I'm fine moving forward with this.
Do you need a vote or consensus good enough?
I
I'd
mean,
make
if
a
you want
motion.
a vote for an RFP or a vote to approve the contract,
Vote to approve the contract.
I would make a motion to approve it.
I'll make a motion to approve the contract for assessing services from Corcoran Associates from January 1st, 2024 through December 31st, 2026 for the amounts in the proposal.
I'll second that.
So Daryl, those seconded by Daryl. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. 500. All right, unless you have anything else, you guys are free for the evening.
No, thank you. Thank you for your confidence in us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up will be Energy Committee, looking for approval for an RFP for solar panels. Come on up, Tim. The floor is yours.
Pardon?
The floor is yours.
Oh, okay, thank you. I think as everybody knows, the Energy Committee's been working to get solar panels on roofs. We started with the salt shed a couple of years ago, had actively talked about on the highway garage, public works garage. Well, what we decided was to put on an RFP and see which buildings were feasible to put solar panels on, and to have a proposal in place that would put them everywhere they were feasible if everyone was in agreement. So that's kind of the basis of this RFP. It's asking the respondent to look at all of the buildings, and there's a list of them on first page of the RFP. Come back with a plan to tell us if it's feasible or not, what the operating return might be. And we've asked for it building by building so we can choose which ones we want to do. Not likely we could afford to do all of them at once. But the intent was to set up a plan so that we can eventually get them all accomplished. So there is, under additional provisions, I think, a request that they submit a way to finance the projects. They'd be more aware of rebates and federal programs that might help finance the program. So I think that's about it.
When are you asking for the RFP to be back for?
July 20th, I think.
27.
27th. Sorry.
That's a short turnaround.
It is, but by this time, I'm sure a contractor can drive by a building and say, yep, that's about 180,000. I don't see that, back 10 years ago, maybe it was a little different, but there's a lot of experience out there. We might get feedback saying we can't meet that deadline. Can you give us another X number of days or weeks?
Yeah.
If they're all consensus like that, then obviously we'd extend the deadline.
Sure.
But
And would the solar be used to offset the cost for the town buildings, or are we looking to sell it? Or both?
I think we're looking just to offset it will be a net metering charge. So
Yeah.
it sort of works both ways. Your electric bill would get reduced, and then you sell the renewable energy credits, so you're getting money back from the sale of those credits. I think quarterly. I think they do that.
And Greg, that's working out pretty well over at the garage, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So we're getting checks for that every quarterly?
We have credits on the bill,
right?
and then we have the other part of it, the credits that they do sell that we get $800 a quarter, something like that has been.
Questions?
And just make a mention that town hall is not on this list, just aesthetically, it's just wasn't gonna ever make it to the list, just so that the town people know that that is
Yeah.
not gonna be affected by any solar panels or
Yeah,
anything like
yeah,
that.
that was,
Yeah.
their thought.
Here I am thinking that the whole roof is solar.
And not only would it look kind of crappy, because it's a slate roof, I'm sure it would be
Oh,
outrageously
yeah.
expensive.
Oh, yeah, it'd be a nightmare to probably do too, right? It's
Yeah.
not like it's flat.
Yeah, yeah, so that was, town hall was left off on
That
purpose.
makes sense.
We really don't have a large space outside of the dump to take and put a large array.
Right, yeah, so, yeah, the landfill solar array is another project.
Okay.
So that's being looked at then too.
It
Okay.
is, yeah.
Yeah, and this isn't a financial commitment whatsoever. It's just a source of
But
price.
the RFP, right,
Right.
yeah. So, yeah, once we get all the information back, I'm sure we, have to prepare a contract with someone that we thought was the right firm or agency.
Out at the landfill, what was that going to be for? We're not concentrating on that at all?
Yeah, that's a longer, term project. So,
I would think that that would have a greater impact than having a bunch of smaller ones.
well, I mean, it's, they can work in concert. Certainly with the solar array at the landfill, I think we're talking a 2 megawatt array out there, which is pretty good size. I mean, that would definitely be used to sell, would be a source of revenue. So yeah, that project is sort of underway, but we wanted to get some of the low hanging fruit, like, putting as much on the buildings as we can, and probably do that in a much shorter term than the landfill array. Then we're also working with community power. I think we'll probably be back in a couple of weeks with that proposal.
Yeah, so I know we've had at least 3 or 4 meetings about the dump and where it's substations and everything because of just the volume of that power. And then we also had conversations on whether timber lane would be involved in that because of its sourcing power
Sure.
and its locality. So there's more pieces of the pie
Okay.
than this particular project. This is a little more direct within our control as select board and,
Oh, good.
and voting members. So
Good.
Any other questions, guys?
The only thing I'd say is you're looking at 17 days from today?
Yeah.
Do you want to extend it another week? Is that
Just
what you're
put it
thinking?
out another,
Another
we
7
make it
days?
30 days or 20,
Um,
maybe another week?
Well, the RFP wouldn't even go out, until tomorrow or
Right.
the next day. So by the
Yeah.
time they had it, they'd be down to 10 days more than likely.
Yeah, so if you, no, I kind of like what Jay's thinking. You
Yeah.
go 30 days maybe from today.
Yeah, and we could go, the idea behind the 27th was that we get the proposals and the Energy Committee could make some kind of recommendation at their meeting on the first Wednesday of the month, which would be like the next week. I mean, that doesn't have to be, extend the deadline.
I wonder if
All
that
the way
was
to-
like, I wonder if that was the original deadline, because we were going to meet, 2 weeks ago, and we didn't meet 2 weeks
Yeah.
ago. So that probably was the deadline from back then, I bet the date.
Yeah.
How many bidders do you have, Tim?
I'm sorry?
How many bidders do you have?
How many bidders?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's got to go to the RFP, then they'll know how many bidders.
Well, usually you send the RFP
As to
to
how many?
how many,
you're going to send?
you know?
And then on here, it says, please submit all questions in writing no later than July 13th. That's, after tomorrow would be 2 days.
Yeah.
They'll be late. So you got to at least go the 30 days.
Yeah.
Got to adjust those dates.
So what's 30 days? What date we want to give?
So, well, I think I plan to do the same thing, whatever that last, the Thursday before our September Energy Committee meeting, whatever that date is.
Yeah,
It'll be roughly August 27th. I mean, you're going around.
right.
What do we want to put down for a date? Because we've got a motion, right? Everybody have a calendar?
I don't. Oh, wait a minute, I do.
What are you looking for, Bill?
A date.
A date in August.
So,
You want it to be a Thursday, you said, right?
yeah, the last Thursday in August.
Be the 31st.
31st, yep.
You want the 24th or the 31st?
No, the 31st is fine.
Yeah, because I'll be heading into Labor Day weekend.
And then what would you want the questions to be submitted by?
Let's see, what do we had the 13th.
So you
do
wanna do
it
like the
at-
10th, August 10th, which
Yeah.
is 3 weeks before.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would give a chance for them to submit a question, get it answered, and then submit their proposal.
So August 31st.
I'll make a motion to, the Energy Committee be authorized to finalize a draft RFP titled Solar for Municipal Buildings, RFP EC 2301, and distribute the same and to gather information on viability costs associated with solar installations on municipal buildings. And I'll add to the motion that we've updated and with the updated dates of August 10th for questions and RFPs to be received by August 31st, 23.
Wait a second.
Second.
Second by Jonathan. Any further discussion? All right. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nay? 500. Thank you, Tim.
Yeah,
Thanks, Tim.
thank you.
Thank you, Tim.
Hope we get a,
I'll try to stay dry out there.
no, I'm my brother, that's guarantee it won't.
Thanks, Tim. All right. Next up, ambulance discussion.
Bring us some good news.
Oh, it's news. Good is,
All relative.
everybody has a different opinion on what good could mean, right? Might be good news for me.
That's what I want to say. What's your opinion going to be?
So as you all know, a year ago, this last May of 2022, is when we placed an order for a new ambulance to replace ours, along with the order of the ladder truck. I've been keeping tabs with the vendor, and they have run into a supply chain issue for the chassis of the ambulance that we ordered. So I'm just going to read this verbatim from what they sent me when I asked for the update. That based on the Ford Motor Company and the current state of the chassis availability, supply chain issues, the Ford E450 is delayed until the fiscal year of 2025. No current delivery date to the OEM facility is available. So what they're telling us is Ford's not even going to be making that ambulance chassis until 2025 models, and they still don't even know when that's going to start and when Road Rescue, who is our manufacturer for the ambulance, would receive that chassis. So
So that could even be December of 25. Could be January, could be December.
delivery could
Or in
potentially
anywhere in
be
between.
26 before.
That's what I'm saying, anywhere in between.
Yes, so it's very disappointing. On the flip side of that, they do have a international CV chassis at their facility, so they have possession of it. It was ordered by another department a while back ago. They thought they might be able to get something quicker from somewhere else, so they canceled the order. This manufacturer knew that they would be able to sell it, so they just kept it in line. So they have taken delivery of it. They have it at the facility to start manufacturing the ambulance body part of it. So they actually have possession of it, and they have a VIN number, which is the most important part of this whole process. Is you ask them if they have a VIN number, which they do. So they have that. It's a better ambulance, better built, more heavy duty. It's a diesel instead of a gas engine, which has its pros and cons of what fuel system to go with. If we're going to start transporting on a more routine basis, this would actually be a better ambulance than one that's only transporting like 50 times a year. So in the long run, it would probably be a better investment anyway to make this change. They've sent us the paperwork on it, and the price on this it's a 2023 International CV chassis. It's $355,308.
And how much was the other one?
Just a little bit shy of 300,000. It's like 298 and some change.
So about a $57,000 difference?
$57,000 difference. Some of the big changes is the diesel motor is a big part of that. This one's four-wheel drive, which the other one was not. So
Those are two big items themselves.
those are two big items right there.
Right.
It's a little bit bigger of it's a heavy duty chassis. So it's going to be able to handle our call volume. If we start transporting more, and we're transporting 600-700 times a year, it's going to be a much better chassis for that workload. So guess what I'm asking the board is if you all would approve the change order so we could change from the Ford E450 to this International CV chassis.
Was this a warrant article?
It's indirectly a warrant article. We have a warrant article for CIP funds to replace apparatus, and we do have this money in the CIP.
So it wasn't like on the warrant article, it didn't state?
Not specifically.
Okay, all right, that's fine.
Greg, where we'd like to see the money come out for this? I mean, we still have money for, just be at the CIP. We still have our money, opera money. What would you prefer?
Probably would vote from the trust fund that's
And there's plenty of money.
the capital reserve, yes.
Okay. Questions, anyone?
What's the life as compared to the life of the other chassis? Like, what are we looking at? 5 years, 10 years, 30 years?
It really is going to be dependent on how much it's used. I would like to get in a cycle where we're replacing it every 15 years, maybe frontline every 7 or 8 years. And I do have some proposals for you all that would help pay for that with revenues. So
Good news is you'll get 1 million miles out of the motor.
you can, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and especially it being a diesel.
Right.
Yeah.
Which one out here is a good thing?
Which around here is almost a must.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anything else, guys?
I'll make a motion to direct the town manager and fire chief to accept the amended addendum to Allegiance contract job number 637194. The International CV chassis will be upgraded to a 2023 International CV chassis road rescue TI Ultramatic. Specifications and prints will be provided to the fire chief. The new assigned job number will be #649840.
I'll second it.
All right, any other discussion? Go ahead, Jim.
What does this do to the CIP? Does this push back other
So-
apparatus?
So the whole CIP model is going to have to be looked at this year anyway because of the significant
Yeah.
price increases on all of our apparatus.
Right.
So it would, impact it a little bit. Overall, a 57 something $1,000 change over that many years shouldn't impact it greatly.
Okay.
But that's on a list to meet this year and to look at how that needs to be updated because as you all know, the pricing of vehicles is just one astronomical.
The $400,000 ladder truck.
Yes. Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
That was close.
Realistic.
It was just missing a number out front.
That's all. What's the build time from?
So,
Signing
like I
this
said,
off.
they have the chassis at Road Rescue. He's trying to get me a more solid delivery date, but he's hoping around March. So they're, I think they're ready to start, but it's in line to start being built
So we're looking at spring of next year,
spring of next year,
or
Yeah.
early spring.
early spring. Which
It'll
is,
be an old home day.
It will be at Old Home. I'm hoping to have two things at Old Home Day: a new ambulance and to give rides on a new ladder truck.
How's that coming along?
So it's coming along good. Well, I'm scheduled to go down the last week of August of this year to do a pre-build meeting with them. So that's typically the timeline is once I go down, we do a pre-build, which is just really approving the blueprints of the project. They start building it not long after that.
And how long is that?
6, 7 months, 9 months, depending on.
So pretty close to the same time.
So same time, yeah.
Where are you going down to see it?
It is in Michigan, I believe.
So going west.
So
right.
so good. That is good news, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Michigan's nice this time of year.
So, all right.
Well, be nice
I got
to-
some other good news I'm hoping to bring back to you all. We've had some significant calls the last couple of weeks, and I'm hoping to bring some people to meet you all soon. So
Oh, nice.
you can see how the voices that you do and the approvals that you give us, how it impacts the community.
All right,
Great.
cool.
Well, thank you.
All right, we need to vote. All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 500. Thank you, chief.
Thank you.
Thanks, Chief.
Thanks, chief.
Thank you.
And talk about perfect timing.
It's almost like they got a text.
Yeah. How about that?
Yep, this is it. So it's a perfect. Next up is Old Home Day Committee. And the thing that's kind of crazy, I think the last time I saw everyone, it was pouring rain.
No, everybody's up here. I want you to introduce yourselves, please.
You
At
know,
least introduce
you
yourself.
guys must bring the rain. Rain for the Old
Listen,
Home Day,
don't
Old
give us
Home
that
Day
half
today.
an hour.
Rain today. I mean, what is this? All right, this will be a good time, kind of go over quick things.
Well, can I give everybody an opportunity to introduce themselves?
Absolutely.
Because Roy and I have been here before, but this is like,
Go right
we're
ahead.
missing a member. We're missing Bob Fairhurst, but I'm Shauna Manthorn, the chair.
Roy Wallen, Vice Chair.
Secretary and Head of the Vendor Subcommittee. Kate Sherman DeRoche, co-chair of the parade.
Krista Hill, I'm on the subcommittee for the vendors.
Marianne White, I'm a co-chair of the parade.
Alan Davis, liaison to the Historical Society.
Great. And first thing, thank you guys.
Thank you.
That really,
Outstanding.
I mean, that was an Old Home Day, I think, that will always be remembered. I don't know why we had vehicles. We should have been coming down the street in boats.
I know, right?
I don't know if it could have rained any harder. But I mean, the morning worked out great, and then just in time for the parade, the skies opened up. But everybody hung in there, and I was surprised to see how many people there were along the route coming down. It was really great to see, but you guys did a phenomenal job. You really did.
We'll get good weather next year.
Sorry, the order's already in.
That's it.
Sunshine and 75.
Yeah.
You already got the order in?
Last week.
That would be great. I mean, but it was a great job, and I know next year's a big one.
jump in and help me out, but obviously we're very grateful for everybody that came out to Old Home Day, but also all the folks like you guys and the town department folks that work with us all year long to plan and coordinate that day. It's absolutely a bigger undertaking than I think most people understand, the level of communication and coordination that has to occur. But it's really joyful to be on the green and see people smiling and enjoying. That's, we're here for the end result, which is the day of, even though it was a little wet and slimy towards the end. But a lot of our community is very dedicated and committed to Old Home Day. And so thank you to them as well, our local partners. Lions Club, a lot of these folks wear double hats, not just Old Home Day committee members, but also committee members in town on other organizations as well. So we felt the day went well, aside from being a little wet and slimy towards the end.
Also, we had regular individuals that just came out and said, hey, if you guys need help with something, let us know. Man on the raffle tickets. We had a bunch of games up in the back. We had people, volunteers helping out there as well. So, we do a lot of the work, but we also can't get it done without, the people that want to step up and fill in some of those gaps, because we can't be everywhere all at once.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
it's a team effort, town effort.
Really, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
But I think it helps that you guys are so well organized. And I enjoyed working with you guys this year because you all work so well together. And if somebody needs help, somebody else is willing to pick up the slack for that. So thank you guys. Job well done.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next year, you can get another T-shirt.
Wait a minute, they bought
I
their
love
own
that you guys all
shirts.
We actually
coordinated
went
that.
and paid for these ourselves to save money in the budget for other things.
Yeah.
So, but yes.
Next year, bigger and better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you guys have any questions about this year specifically that we didn't?
Well, so you didn't use those firework funds, so that'll be transferred into next year's?
Correct. Yep. So we contacted American Thunder and they were willing to put that towards next year's
And
show.
although we've always had an allotted budget because we've had these normal events, next year is coming up on the 275th, right? So are we going to have another few meetings prior to this end of this year so we can start getting a budgetary process going so that we can expand that?
We already did. Whatever do you mean? Yes. So we've had some conversations even before this year's event came to be, but as that planning was pretty much confirmed and solidified, using some time in the May and June meetings to discuss. Obviously, next year's event is going to be a really big one. Everybody on this committee is dedicated and committed to making it bigger and better and a wonderful celebration. 275 years of a town and especially this town that we're all so proud to be a part of, is a phenomenal opportunity for all of us. And so we have big ideas and big plans. And so we do sort of have an idea of some of the things that we want to do and what it will cost. And so I don't know if this is a good time to bring it up or not, but it's, whenever we're ready to have those discussions. I don't know if today's the day. But even before we talk about monetary components for next year, we want to talk about the date for next year.
Sure.
So we know that historically Old Home Day has been on the third Saturday in June. I tried to look back for the history of how many years that's been, but I couldn't even find all of the numbers. And so next year, June actually has 5 weekends.
Okay.
And another hat I wear is school board. And so looking at the school calendar for next year in anticipation of snow days, that third Saturday in June could very well push some dates into graduation, end of school year type things. And so as a committee, we looked at the calendar and we're hopeful that folks would be in agreement to moving it to the fourth Saturday in June for next year, which would actually, or the largest part of the celebration. We have a few days we'd like to address, but having the main celebration be Saturday, June 22nd, with potentially some activities occurring Thursday evening and Friday evening before. And then Saturday being the main event, if you will, and Sunday having like a half day, to
So
mid-afternoon.
the 22nd's really almost kind of, if you look at it against the 4th of July, it's about the same time frame.
Yes, it
Yeah.
is.
You
'cause
look
then
at it
there's a-
that way. You're only talking a couple, it was the 17th this year, right?
Yeah.
So you're only talking a few days. So it's not like you're going to like June 30th or something like
It's
that.
actually the same amount of days. I looked, it's pretty much the same in line with,
Yeah, like
this
that
year.
4th weekend and all that. So you're pretty much keeping it the same.
And contractually, there's no problem with the
No,
No.
we set
the
the time.
police, fire, and everything
Even
else.
the date that Old Home Day lands on, and that's where it is.
Roy and I met with both the police and fire department and sort of asked them about their contracts and if there would be a conflict of changing the date. And it just says, the language in their CBA specifically says, no time off will be approved on the town's scheduled Old Home Day. So
I
it
think the one
didn't,
thing we'll have to do though, if we're looking to do, a Thursday night, Friday night, to, talk with the police and the chief and his team to see what they're looking at, if there's, ample manpower to help cover those.
So are you looking at Sunday too, or just the 3 days, Thursday through Saturday?
Sunday too.
So you're looking at 4 days.
Well, now,
You
not
guys
whole
wanted a
days,
day,
but.
so-
Right, like
I know it's
evening.
evening. I'm not talking full days, but something for
Yeah,
4 days.
yeah.
Yeah, it's not something on each day.
Something on each day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. We really want to capture the age range of the citizens in town. So we have some ideas for our younger citizens and then, some of our older citizens to be able to have access to different activities and things going on around town. So, and police and fire were very supportive of us, expanding the time. They just wanted to know in terms of coordination and dates, the earlier they could, so that they can start to,
And,
pencil in.
and everything's still based on the green, or are you looking using maybe some other areas?
We'd like to use other areas of town too. There's, obviously we use the high school for the fireworks. Obviously we have Park is a fantastic facility that has been utilized by Old Home Day Committee in the past, and we'd like to reintegrate that use. There was talk of using some of Pollard School. We'd have to, contact the school regarding that. And then a very generous citizen who wears several hats has a farm right across the railroad tracks over here.
Really?
That he is willing to
Interesting.
host some
I wonder who that is.
activities.
Watch out, that crotchety
How
old
was
man.
that? Very subtle. So we're looking to expand. The Plaistow Historical Society is very willing and hopeful to open up the museum there as well. We're interested in contacting the library. The library has been so wonderful and supportive about being, a location for the children that march in the parade to come there and access their bathroom, even though they're closed. I mean, they're so generous with their space, and we're very grateful to them. But we'd love to sort of expand the celebration to different parts of town. It's definitely in the plans for us to utilize a bigger area. Although obviously Town Hall Green is such a central location and it's traditional. So by no means are we taking anything away from what's happening here. We just want to add and showcase other areas in town.
Oh, good idea.
I'm actually pretty excited to see what pans out for next year. I have some ideas rolling around in my head.
We do too.
Yeah, and
We got a lot of ideas kicking around, so I think it's going to be great.
yeah, and I think I'd speak for everyone. You feel free to bounce anything off of any of us, because obviously we're going to support it fully. It's a good event for the town. It's nice to see it back again.
Great job pulling the cars in.
Yeah.
That was
That's going to be bigger next year. That's the hope. There were so many people that were excited about it. Obviously, if the weather was
That
better,
kept
that
it.
would have been a bigger piece of it.
The medium range kids, and that
Yeah.
kept them attentive throughout the whole day.
Yeah,
Go-karts
it's true.
for the racetrack.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was always somebody there too,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
which was good. And actually, all those games in the back looked like that worked out very well.
Mm-hmm. It did.
There was something for all different age groups, even with those games.
Yeah, they kept everyone busy.
Yeah.
And I know Sean had dealt with the race car guys a lot. They were fantastic.
Oh, they were wonderful
They're
to
very
deal with.
excited to come back next year as well.
Oh, good.
Yeah, they've already penciled in the date of the 22nd. We tried to communicate with some of our traditional folks and some of the more popular activities to sort of, save the date. I know the parade committee did that as well. So, I mean, we're ready to go for next year. We do have some formality things to do as a committee, including normally we have our reorganization of Old Home Day Committee in October, but because that's almost too late into the planning for next year's, we're actually going to be bumping it up. When we leave here today, we're all going downstairs to confirm the meeting of the next date of the Old Home Day Committee, which will hopefully be within the next 2 or 3 weeks, and to do a reorganization meeting and reassign some roles so that we can really commit to get going and doing things. So in that regard, budget has to be discussed and or decided by you folks.
Well, we're heading
Soon.
we're heading into budget season pretty
Right.
quickly. So you need to start putting some numbers on paper.
What would you like from us to see in order to justify an amount?
What's the best thing, Greg?
Sir.
Because you usually get it together
Just a
first.
proposal, just break it down what we're looking to do and put some numbers in.
And kind of roughly what for each.
Do you want, Shauna, do you want to share with everybody on what they spent on the 250th?
Yes, according to the town report and the 250th, which Alan
Alan
doesn't have that one with him.
I'll tell you what.
$183,000, was it? No, sorry, 23, excuse me, $123,000.
$123,000, that was $1,998.
Over $200,000.
Yeah.
Yep.
And it was
Now
a
you're
warrant,
pushing
it
it,
was a
Alan.
warrant article.
Yeah.
It was a warrant article as well,
A year
and
ahead.
a year ahead, and so obviously, that's
Yeah.
that particular process might have come and gone for us, but
Probably.
Are you going to be in need of volunteers?
always. A lot of folks in the community have reached out to different members of our committee saying that they're not people that can come to meetings every week or every month, but they're willing to come the day of the event. And that's actually the folks that we need the most.
Yes.
Is people that are able to come the day of and give an hour or two to just help us run an activity. This committee is very dedicated to offering as many free activities to the community that we can, utilizing the funds efficiently and effectively to be able to. We want people to come down and enjoy. Life is hard enough, and let's all talk about the economy. Let's not. But again, it should be a day that is hopefully alleviates some stress on the shoulders of folks, and they can see the people that they don't always get to see, and kids get to enjoy doing things that they may not necessarily get to enjoy doing, with their families because of cost and things of that nature. And so to have those free activities, yes, some of them are manned, like the racetrack, which was really great, but some of them do require a level of supervision, and it's really more just to make sure every kid gets a turn. This year we still had quite a few kids over at the games, even though it was weather was less than ideal, but there were still plenty of kids here that were engaging and wanting to play. So we want to expand to different parts of the town, which means we're going to need more support the day of the event. So if anybody out there is watching or interested, if you email the Old Home Day at PlaistowAccess email address and let us know that you're willing to help out that day, we'll keep you in the loop of updated information for volunteers. It's not too soon to let us know, for sure.
Maybe it's something we can run on the local station too, to get it out there, you know what I mean, throughout the rest of the year.
No, June seems like a long way off, but it really isn't with all that planning that has to be done.
No.
Now, with all of the chairs, I heard different titles. I didn't hear any for donations. Do you have an individual, or are you seeking an individual that is good at soliciting donations? Somebody that's retired, that's out in the community that...
No, I did it. I did a letter writing campaign with the help of the committee, and just wrote a letter that we all edited, and it garnered quite a bit of donations with our Kate, who's our liaison to the Friends of Plaza Recreation, which is very helpful. You know, we recognize the need for donations, and we're very grateful to everybody in town that donated not only their time, but also the money that helped offer all of these free activities for the citizens to be able to do. But we're very much a volunteer committee, and our full-time job can't be fundraising and garnering donations. So it's a large part of what we do, but it can't be the only thing that we do. You know, we need manpower and help, but you know, we can do what we can, but assigning somebody to be in charge of donations and fundraising, I think, is not the best use of the folks on our committee, because we work together to do that
Cool.
It's really appropriate for our committee either.
as volunteers.
This is a town committee, and it's really Friends of Rec that's helping us with that. So if people want to help Friends of Rec to kind of do that, that would be one thing. But I don't know if the town committee or not.
Well, it'll all be a mute issue. It'll all be a mute issue, really, once any of us hit the $600 million Powerball.
I like your thinking, sir.
All home days for everyone.
Right?
That's it.
Trophies for everybody.
Yeah, I mean, just going back on that volunteering thing. So I think, and I haven't really spoken, you know, we've just been kind of talking high level about this stuff, but for volunteers and donations, you know, letter campaign's one thing, but going out and doing fundraising, I mean, we've all been involved with that stuff. It's not an easy task to raise the money. A lot of, I mean, everyone here, we've all got full-time jobs, and most of us run other committees within the town or the community. So I think we've got, you know, I assume the Lions will probably do some kind of fundraising. We did one last year. We may do another one. I haven't suggested. You know, Friends of Rec will probably do something, but it's not going to be, you know, I don't think we can do anything large that's going to bring in, I'll just say, a wheelbarrow full of cash. I think we can get, you know, small amounts here and there, but you know, it can be challenging. And then keep in mind, this is one thing I've run into with, you know, some of the stuff I've done in the past is you're competing with everyone else. So Old Home Day competes with the Lions, who's competing with Friends of Rec, who's competing with, you know, baseball or the high school, that type of thing. And we've actually gone to other places and said, listen, I got, you know, the fifth one in here today. I'm out untapped. So organizations and places within town are also getting a feeling stretched in the last couple of years too. So I think we just got to find a good balance on it. And, you know, I think we can come up with a budget number and see where we go from there.
Right. And outside of that, the town does have a trust fund that I think some of us have even donated to in the past, where it goes into a trust fund and then it's utilized as part of your budget for the Old Home Day. So, you know, if there are people out there that want to make donations to the town, that can be earmarked for Old Home Day and put into that trust fund. So that might be something, you know, direct the funds here as opposed to another organization. So
That would be great. If we can work on like a joint communication to go out so people could know that, that would be really helpful too.
Yep.
All right. You all set?
Thank you so much.
Yeah, anything else? Go right ahead. What do you got?
Can you
What do you
lock
got?
the date in for us?
Yes.
I'll
Go
make
ahead, make the motion.
a motion to set Plasto's 275th anniversary and Old Home Day for June 22nd, 2024.
Do you want it for just the 22nd, or do you want it from the Thursday or whatever? How do you want it?
Can you do the 20th through the 23rd?
20th, I'll change that to the 20th to the 23rd of 2024.
Second it.
Second by Darrell. All those in favor?
Aye.
500. Do you have anything else for us? And don't be a stranger this year. You know, come in front of us a few times. Ask for those volunteers. Let us know how everything's going. And then, you know, how we can help, even no matter what it is.
We'll be back in August with our proposal, sir.
Oh, great.
Yeah, thank
Yes.
you guys for being there.
You guys were there. You guys were helping. So thank you. We appreciate you.
Every question got answered. Everybody rolled up their sleeves. It was just, it was a really great day. It's a great organization and committee to be a part of, but our town, employees and obviously you guys as well are the whole reason why all of this happens. So thank you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
But thank you.
All right.
Thank you.
Good
Great
luck.
Thank
job,
you. Thank you
everyone.
for everything.
Thank you.
Bye. All right. Next up, looking at approval to sell town-owned vehicles and equipment. What do we have, Greg?
We'll cross off the vehicle portion of that, leave it just with the equipment.
Okay.
But when we replace the police department tasers over the wintertime, there is an opportunity to sell those back to the manufacturer and then generate money. Because these tasers were bought out of the asset forfeiture monies, we would sell those, put the money back into the asset forfeiture fund, and then it would become available for the police department to use it towards cartridges and other things that they need. So,
Yep.
so we're just looking for approval, to authorize them to sell those back to the manufacturer.
So it's about 3,600, somewhere
Yes.
around there.
Yes.
We'd come back to the town.
Make a motion to, I guess, direct the town manager to,
There's a
oh,
draft.
there is a draft? Oh, there it is. Make a motion to allow the police department to sell their stock of used X26E tasers. These tasers are no longer used by the department, and proceeds will be returned to the asset forfeiture account.
Second.
Second by Darrell. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 500.
And the follow-up on the vehicle is we're going to hold on to it for the summer because the recreation director has a use out of being able to use that vehicle currently. So we're going to at least use it for the summer, and then we'll see what happens from there.
As long as it's not sitting there and being used.
Exactly.
Perfect.
This is the Explorer.
Yes. Yep. It's the old K9 vehicle that has been parked over at the annex.
Yeah.
All right. We've got some non-public minutes to approve.
I was like, what the heck is that all about? Okay.
You want me to read this just as one motion?
No.
Individuals?
Well, yeah, because we probably got to decide, right, whether they're sealed or not sealed.
Well, with session 1, I'll make a motion to approve the non-public session minutes of June 5th, 2023, session number 1.
We gonna seal those?
I'll second it.
It says they were not sealed on it.
They weren't sealed? Okay.
So there's no discussion on that.
All right.
Just vote.
All right, so we got a second by Tammy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
500.
I'll make a motion to approve the non-public session minutes for June 5th, 2023, session number 2, and keep them sealed.
Second.
Motion by Darrell, second by Jay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? 500.
I'll make a motion to approve the non-public session minutes of June 5th, 2023, session number 3, and keep them sealed.
Third, second.
Second.
Second by Jonathan. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? 500.
And I will make a motion to approve the non-public session minutes of June 12th, 2023, and keep them sealed.
Second.
Second.
Second by Jay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? 500.
Need to take those back.
Oh.
Thank you.
If you want to add or not, I'll find out.
Okay.
And we've got the consent agenda to approve. It includes the manifest, the BOS minutes from June 5th and 12th of 2023, Department of Revenue Form PA-28 Inventory of Taxable Property, one notice of intent to cut wood or timber, one elderly exemption application, one veterans tax credit application, one 2022 abatement application.
Motion made.
Second.
Darrell and Jay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 500. And Greg, looks like you're up.
Don't have enough time. We had a swearing in today of a new police officer. Police chief came down, Martha swore in the new officer. We also had the new dispatcher start today. We're currently still looking for a full-time dispatcher and a part-time dispatcher. Hard to believe we're already 6 months through the year. In your packets, you've got the first 6 months of expenditures reports. As we go through, it's very difficult in the beginning, but things are going to start to take shape, if you will. And certainly, we're right at 50% expended. Given the fact that we have some, like our debt payments, that are at 100% already, there's nothing there that seems way out of the ordinary or concerning at this point. We'll just continue to monitor and the like. Have had several, meetings with department heads, fire, police, highway. In addition to the ambulance purchase, we're working on an RFP for ambulance transport, so that should be coming before the board soon. The Chief Santoro, is still, he's had a very busy couple of months, for us saying, or my saying, that the roughest thing he had was the speeders on Main Street. It's certainly, there's been a lot of calls for service, and, some serious, not some so serious, but still, everything is going along well up at the police department. We did receive, as part of the Comcast agreement, they did pay us recently the 2 back years of $20,000 of each year, which is the equipment for the cable studio, that we have that separate. and they will be paying another $20,000 by the end of the year for this year. So that check did come in. We have kicked off a very big project, which is the IT and the server upgrade for police, fire, and the town hall. We've started to meet on a biweekly basis as SE has been, as the equipment comes, rolling in, if you will. But they've got a very good plan to address, a revamping of the servers in the police department and the server room, where everything is located now. The current that we have is, they're in excess of 5 or 6 years old at this point, and we are seeing issues more and more pop up.
Now, is that going to require a shutdown or universal shutdown?
Not a long one. They're going to try to do it in phases. With town hall closed on Fridays, obviously that's easy, but where they're operating 24/7, it's going to be
Yeah.
unavoidable. So
Okay.
just trying to do as much work as we can to limit it.
When they switch over, how long do they think it'll take for the switch over?
A couple hours, I think, is what at most. Trying to think. Oh, water. Manchester Waterworks. I got an email last week on Thursday saying Manchester Waterworks is bumping up their wholesale and their rates for water by 9%, effective the usage starting on October 1st of 2023. So we did weather a increase in Manchester's fee increase from last year, but there wasn't really any need to address it. We're new into the system and the like. So definitely, as we get into budget season, we'll be taking a hard look at the costs and the like versus the fees that we're being charged for water. And that obviously, Manchester is one thing, but as the water wheels through the system, it obviously depends on the other communities with what they're doing as well. So
It's a beautiful business. You get the product for free, and then you get to sell it.
And then the other thing, the real big thing too, is the board, they provided incentives with water hookups that required the waiving of some of the Plaistow source development charge, the PSDCs. As part of that agreement, they needed to be hooked up and online by June 30th or July 1, a week ago or so. So we're taking a look at that, sending out letters to see where people are with that.
How many we have left?
There's not many, maybe a half a dozen.
Okay.
So some of them I know, like one of them is Pennachuck with their 2 systems.
Yeah.
And just the engineering and the equipment and the like, to be able to hook into it is more than just
Sure.
a hooking up a household. So we're carefully looking at all of those, sending out letters, and, we'll bring, back what people have for reasons and how it looks. The PFAS and the PFOA grant, those are moving along as well. We're through engineering and the like. Earth is due sometime by the end of this month to work on balancing out contract P4 and then to do the PFAS connections that we have signed up as well. So.
Good. Can you tell us the name of the dispatcher and the new police officer? Do you have that there?
Jacob Hatt is one of them. I believe he is the officer.
Okay.
Sean Gutman, I think, is the dispatcher.
Okay.
Yeah. Jacob is brand new, will be going to the academy.
Oh, good.
Has signed up to attend the academy. Then we'll go through his FTO and all of his hands-on training and the like. So it'll be about a year before he gets to be a very productive member of the force.
Would that make them fully staffed up there, or are they still?
Still, I believe, one down.
Okay.
Good job for you, Bill.
Have you seen my rap sheet?
You got to pass a polygraph too. You know?
Yeah.
Any questions?
I'm good. Anyone?
I just saw that people that have water will be able to pay their bills online now.
Yes.
That's good.
Yes.
That make it easier.
Hopefully.
No.
You know, we de-uploaded all the meter information, so readings were either done last week, I think, over the 4th. So we should be getting another quarterly bill out the door, and yes, they can pay them online through the tax collector's office.
Excellent.
We don't need to bring this up, right? The water for the salvage.
No.
Nope. All right, anything else, Greg? Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, Selectmen's reports. Tammy?
I attended a few Old Home Day meetings. I attended the Timberlane graduation. I feel like we haven't had a meeting
We may not have.
since then. And that turned out to be a beautiful day.
Yeah, with the holiday, it's like you're all fouled
Yeah.
up.
And I attended a couple of Elder Affairs meetings, and we have another one tomorrow. And then I think we're taking off a month. We're not going to meet in August. Some of the things that we've been doing for the past few months now is we get a list of every month of whose birthday it is up at the Veterans Home in Tilton. And we all make out a birthday card. So they all have birthday cards on their birthday. So we've been doing that during the meeting and getting those out.
What time is the Elder Affair tomorrow?
It's usually at 1:00. We're doing it at the library.
Okay.
So we've been having it over there in the history room. So yeah, that will be at 1:00 tomorrow. And then we've just been throwing out some different ideas. Should we do another cookout? I know the big talk is about the craft fair over at the Vic Gary on November 18th. So we've been talking about that. They're still going through their bylaws, and I think we should get those done by tomorrow. And I think that was about it. And then I haven't had a conservation meeting. For some apparent reason, we don't have anything coming up, so.
It's like, it's one of those months. It's on the summer schedule.
Well, the whole thing is I haven't had one. And since.
There's just nothing calling for it
Right,
at this point. you
Right,
know?
yep. So.
All right. Thank you. Darryl,
No.
can you elaborate?
No.
Jay?
Attended the high school graduation. That was a very nice ceremony with Bill and with Tammy. Old Home Day was there. I dried off, I don't know, about a week later. It was pretty rainy,
Yeah.
but all in all, it was a great day and it turned out well, even with the rain. You know, I was really surprised how many people were lined the side of the road during the parade. So it was nice to see everyone, sticking it out with us. So
And it was nice to see too that you stayed out of the puddles.
It would have been nicer to
I did
see
jump
if you
in the
hadn't
field.
worn see-through pants.
Hey,
Darryl, I'm glad you said it. We stayed nice and dry. We had the view from the back.
Just be thankful.
and then, I don't know, there's going to be some energy meetings coming up around community aggregation. So I'll probably be going to those. And I missed a budget meeting because I was away. They did their reorg.
Yeah. We did our board.
Yeah, they did their reorg. And then I think that's about it.
I did forget one thing, the budget committee.
Thanks, Jay. John?
Well, after hearing about the Old Home Day March, I'm pretty glad I was on the back of the parade. And my glasses were pretty wet, so I didn't see a whole lot. So, yes, I did attend that. We had a hay wagon in there and the old home day committee in there. I don't care that they were soaked to the bone. They were still dancing in the streets.
Yeah.
It was a great
Yeah.
day.
Everybody embraced it.
And we got 3 or 4 good hours in the morning,
Right.
which really made the day
Yeah.
happen. So I also had econ along with Jay, and we were working on this RFP, and as well as again working with Tim on the opt-out clause for the community power that we're working on, trying to save us all a little bit of money. Hazmat, I had an annual meeting with the fire chief, and so we get together with the 6 other communities and do a resource sharing of all of the equipment and the sources of talent and people, and it saves every town a little bit of money, and every town is accountable by their population. So it works out really well, and it's a great group of individuals. There's a ton of talent at these things. And just sitting back listening to their stories it's amazing. So. Other than that, I might have done a performance eval for this cat over here. Other than that, I think that was my things.
Yep. Thank you, John. And myself, I was at graduation, obviously Old Home Day. The one thing, last Wednesday, I attended the first concert back on the town green. It was very well attended.
Good.
It really was. And it was also nice to see the church across the street back with the ice cream. And that was a steady stream going over there as well. So it
You went
worked
over
out
there?
well. It was nice. Hopefully, they'll have some nice weather. I know, unfortunately, they had to cancel the first week. But hopefully from here on out, weather will
Wednesday's
work.
supposed to be hot, but nice.
Yep.
Yep.
So maybe that'll be the thing. You never know.
Yeah.
That was really about all I had. It's been pretty quiet with going through July. Events coming up, the summer concert series, obviously, we're just talking about, it's in progress. That'll continue every Wednesday on the town green at 6 o'clock. And there will be a second summer movie night on the town green. And it's going to be on Friday, July 14th at 8 o'clock.
What's the movie?
Did I see it was Coco?
Yes.
Whatever
Okay.
Coco is, I
Coco.
don't know.
I don't know what Coco is.
It's an animated movie.
Yeah,
Kids movie.
my kids aren't that young anymore.
Yeah.
Although in a couple of years, I'll be back into it again, the grandchild.
He'll show it to you in the home.
Exactly.
I forgot to mention, were you done?
Yes.
Okay. I forgot to mention too, me and Daryl went over after the parade was over. The fire department invited all of us to go over there, and they had a nice spread over there.
Yeah.
You always eat good when the fire department is behind it.
So the 2 dry ones went over. Just to mention that the 2 people that weren't soaked to the bone went over to enjoy the fire department.
Yeah, the rest of us were drowned rats.
Daryl says, let's go over. So we went right over.
Of course you did.
We didn't even stop here. We just made the loop.
We ate like kings.
The crazy part is when I got home, the jacket I was wearing, I took off, I put it over the chair in the kitchen, went upstairs, took a shower. I came back down. There was this massive puddle in the kitchen from the drip off of my jacket. It took my jacket, I swear, 3 days to dry out.
Oh, God.
I think Daryl has a few pictures of the
I
two
do.
of them.
You know,
I'll be posting them on Facebook.
They might be worth money. People will buy it.
I want to mention, right after that, I the same went home, got undressed and walked in shower, but the old home day crew, they were still out there soaked to the
Oh, God
bone,
bless
doing
them.
all the cleanup and everything else. They really,
Yeah.
they didn't take a break.
God bless them.
I went home, honestly, I got dry, I got warm. And then I came back out, and they were already out there making sure everything was done, so soup to nuts.
And I think we have non-public tonight.
Okay.
So what do we want to go in under?
I'll make a motion to go into non-public under RSA 91A3A, public employee.
Second.
Mr. Coy,
Yes.
Mr. DeRoche,
Yes.
Mr. Britton,
Yes.
Mr. Gifford,
Yes.
Ms. Bergeron.
Yes.
All right, and we won't be coming back, so have a good night, everyone.
Night.
Night.
Good night.